And I feel like I'm on a virtual real estate tour.
So that's the pizza oven that was built by the owner of the home.
Right
I don't
on.
know where I'm going.
I've only been to San Diego one time, and what I liked was when I was coming from LA, and it's just whatever roadway I was on, and then boom, I see the Pacific Ocean, and I'm like, my heart like stopped because I hadn't seen the water in a few days, and I was just it was like I was on the mainland for like a week, but after a couple of days, I see the Pacific, I recognize it, and I'm like, okay, maybe San Diego's cool, just I got in, and yeah, then I was just there for a couple hours and turned right back around and drove north,
You were on
but
the Pacific
it's
Coast
beautiful.
Highway. I'm going to assume that's where you were. Because if you were able to see the ocean, you were, yeah. Or you're in Carlsbad or Oceanside. Were you in San Diego, or?
I have no
You don't know?
idea. Yeah, it was San Diego proper. I went to not a boardwalk. I don't know. There was like some place that was like similar to like a French street in Lahaina. It was kind of touristy, with little food things, and there was a ship.
Oh,
So celebrating maritime things in the
oh,
area.
you were at the Embarcadero. You were probably at the Embarcadero,
Oh,
which is close to the airport.
that's a good name. I like that name.
I'm throwing it out there. I don't even know where you were. I'm just like, you said there was a ship. I'm like, it was probably the Embarcadero.
Yeah. I went to 7-Eleven Hawaii, not to be mistaken with other 7-Elevens, but I went to 7-Eleven. There's like a deal for like a drink and the musubi, but I picked up. I don't usually use condiments, whatever I'm eating, but I saw the shoyu pack, and it was Aloha shoyu, and I was like, I was going to ask you if they have those kind of condiments at 7-Elevens. No
Nope.
shoyu.
Nope. No shoyu. None.
Mm.
You'll get that if you go like to like a sushi spot, and they'll give you like the little packet of like why can't I think wasabi and shoyu, and they give you chopsticks. But that's like, you gotta go to the sushi spot, and they never ever give you aloha. You're never gonna get aloha. It's just not here. So when I go home, I actually buy the packages where there's a lot of the little aloha soyu package, so I can bring it myself. We used to keep it in the glove compartment here. We're not as serious as we used to be. I feel like we've been here a really long time now, so we don't have as many aloha shoyu packets as we used to. We've grown to accept that kikoman is what they do here. So you just got here and you're still slowly adjusting and adapting.
No, I remember as a kid we had I don't know why, but everything was just like oversized, but I guess it's like pre-Costco kind of thing, or Sam's Club, where you would get the 20-pound or better bag rice, and you would get that what looks like a gas can of shoyu, so you can fill up the little glass thing.
Yeah.
At home though. I was just like, I thought everybody, when I first moved out on my own, I thought, is that what I'm supposed to buy? Like, the big bag of rice that it lasted me forever because I didn't really eat rice even now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You like me saying you show you
in a big Tupperware container. But we have cow rolls here. We don't have Diamond G, but we have cow rolls rice here. So, well, just so you know, I got a little side hustle. Yeah, I just found out. It said that Jimmy Taco is on here. What's up, Jimmy? And he says that there's no Trader Joe's, so I'm taking orders. If you guys wanna get some cookie butter, or some Lacey's cookies, or anything Trader Joe's, I'm willing to take orders, but it's gonna cost a lot of money because this is a side hustle. So I gotta make money, right? I don't know how to sew, so I can't make masks. So you guys let me know what you guys need, and I'll be the plug.
So Tati, you're still working. You have been with okay, let's see, San Diego radio. You're relatively newly with Jesse and Tati in the morning in San Diego. How long have you been with this configuration?
In August will be a year, and it's the I'm gonna be there in a year. And if I have to say what it's equivalent to, I would say it would be equivalent to a KSSK.
Oh.
Yeah, because they used to have a duo on this station that was on forever.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like household names, and then they vacated, and then my partner that I'm with now, he came on after somebody else that was on for a little while. But so yeah, it's the station that's it's been around a long time, so I'm hoping I can be gray on the station, just get all really gray and just like ride it as long as possible, maybe be like Coach or Price, whatever, whoever I got to just make that money. I'm trying to make that longevity money. Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
That's so funny.
I don't do the cartouche or I don't have any like catchphrases, so we'll see what happens. It's usually a guy and guy duo that works on these types of formats, so we'll see.
But you have something that's broader than cartouche, which is the better to give, right? Hashtag better to give.
Yeah.
Are you still doing that?
Well, right now, no. COVID stopped. I had in April. I usually do, so I do it in January, April, and September. And then in the summer months, because we get heat waves here that are like, it's so hot. And people are still using public transportation. I would do like water drops to like bus stops and stuff, and like, construction guys and in the summertime. But yeah, Better to Give was is my homeless outreach, and it's been really amazing to see that people from Hawaii that remembered me from back there will like Venmo me money to like buy supplies for the homeless here. So that's always so beautiful to have, like, amazing giving folks even from Hawaii trying to help out people here in San Diego. So my best friend actually wants to try and start doing Better to Give in Hawaii, and she's there now, but it's hard with COVID-19. We're kind of just waiting for this to give us the green light to safely pass out supplies. So yeah, it's not a cartouche, but it's definitely helping out the community and just being more grassroots, hand to hand.
Well, you had said that what you were doing, you actually met up with a group where you discovered what you're doing is a good start, and you were able to get other ideas and input to really broaden. Like, you're right, it starts from small kid time. It's with the schools, and then the different environment changes. It's like this cycle where it's not just what you see on the street, because that's what even I found out. People who are house challenged that we actually see on the sidewalks, that's just like a small percentage of the people who are not seen. It's like the people who are couch surfing or are squatting, or if they're lucky, they're with other camps, like out Waianae side, that's just like really showing an example of working with different private and public organizations. I mean, it's imperfect, and it'd be great not to have any organizations or charities that we have to fundraise in order to assist. It's great that we can, but it's just like it's not just one thing. It's everything. And I love that's why I'm like, I love that you're sharing your journey. And how did you start with the focus? Because of all the different groups that, being from Hawaii, you understand the homelessness, being hungry, but why focus on that particular group to start?
So when I was on the East Coast in Washington, D.C., I was looking for ways to get to know the city, right? I was like, well, how am I supposed to adapt and get to know this city? I was able to adapt in San Diego, but this is a whole different ballgame. So I got together with people there, and I would just volunteer, and I'd see that people are passing out stuff to homeless, and they're like, we need volunteers. So I just started volunteering, and I saw how easy it was with what they were doing. And, I realized I could definitely help their outreach with using the radio as a platform, because I reach so many people, and I thought, well, that's how I can help, because these guys are really doing the work. They're going out there and they're passing out, hygiene products and, snacks and clothing. They need clothes too. And that was my son, Lincoln. He asked if the dog that we're dog sitting could come out here. He won't get in the shot, but he's and he doesn't bark, so he'll be out here. But
I hope he starts
Whatever.
barking. Oh, that's cute.
And yes, he's wearing an Aloha shirt. He's wearing an Aloha shirt because it's Aloha Friday, and his owner is all about it. She's in Hawaii as many times as possible, and you know she's tourist action because she's not from, but
no, I love
she comes to
it.
Hawaii
And
pretty
that's
often.
good. Animals get sunburned too, so that's actually quite smart.
Right.
As long as it can breathe, as long as you get water. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And you know that guy right there. Look, he's just gonna crap on the back grass, whatever. Just
You
Kathy. The
started
other
doing
dog-
it too. Oh, the
The
other
other dog
dog.
came out here. That one barks.
No,
That
this
one
is
barks.
great. That's how. Because these oh, the cute. Hello. Hi.
That one barks. Okay.
Oh. Because I want these conversations to be conversations. You know, it's just like that's how, you know. Because I'm in the office, it's like, you know, even with the light on, my mic light is on so nobody comes in. But people come in. Is
Yeah,
better?
There you go. There you go.
You like,
Lift the
I
curtains.
stay wearing my
Let's see what's
overalls,
behind the
everything, bro.
curtains.
I'm going weed later. Don't worry about me.
Oh
I'm
my
going water the
gosh.
yard.
Oh, hi, Ivan's girls. Like, tons of clothes. We'll take it. You know we will. There's some people on here. Oh, you guys are amazing. There's some people here that are actually better to give volunteers. You know, back to what I was saying. I was a volunteer in DC, and being a volunteer, you and I know that the volunteers who help out with Better to Give are here watching this too, but you get to see where the need is. You get to talk to the homeless people, and that's what I always ask them before we start the volunteering and before we start the event. I always ask people, you know what the best thing about being a volunteer is? I'm over here like trying to direct. Oh, here, let's go, you know, and I'm directing, and I always tell them, try and have a conversation if you can. If they're feeling good and they want to talk to you, have a conversation with them and ask them what it is that they need, or you know, just tell them how are you, because a lot of times, you know, we're not talking to homeless people. We're like, you know, we're walking by, we're trying to get to where we're trying to go. And I think that with Better to Give, you get to actually see who they are. Are they the couch surfer? Are they the one who obviously has mental health issues and they're out there because they don't have the support and the means to get help? You know, are they have they fallen into addictions because they can't get their mental health, you know, in order? So I always have we talk to them and ask them what their need is, what, you know, how they get out here, just interact with them. And a lot of times, you know, they would just tell us, we need jeans or we need socks. They just ask for supplies for the most part.
Yeah.
But once in a while, you get to touch somebody on a one-on-one basis, and they'll say like, yeah, you know, I found myself out here, and you know, I don't have any family out here, so I'm kind of just trying to make it work out. And you know, and there's nothing wrong with them. You know, people always think there's something wrong.
Yeah.
They've just fallen on really hard times, and they just don't know how to, you know, get back. So Better to Give is just one of those things where it's like you get to try and connect them. And I have a lot of because I'm on the radio, people reach out to me and say, hey, I run this, or San Diego Rescue Mission is a new one. San Diego Rescue Mission does everything. They do rehabilitation. They help them get their GEDs. They you know, they help them out in the long term, not just what I do with the blanket. You know, all I'm doing is passing out goods. That's great, but it's not focused on the individual and what their problem is. So I like to link up with other people and try and get their message out. Because I'm not a 501c3. I do not like money coming my way. I actually, every time people say, let me just give you money, I said, I don't like your money. I don't want your money because I don't want people to start thinking that I'm taking the money and I'm buying, you know, plastic pools for my kids over there. You know,
Aloha shirts for dogs.
Aloha shirts for dogs, you know, like, oh, nice. Yeah, your backyard. Why? Where you get all that money? Like, I don't want nobody to confuse, you know, like anything. I don't want any confusion. So I'm always like, I don't like money. But if you're my friend and you know me personally, then I know that you trust me. So then if you're going to give me money, I can take a picture of the receipt from Costco that I bought stuff and give it to you. So you have it for your tax purposes or whatever you might want to use it for, just so you know that I used your money for Better to Give. But yeah, I don't know if that answered the question. I try and help out other organizations to get their word out.
For right now, is if we just go to your station site, if they look for hashtag Jesse and Tati. It can just take you to your radio station's blog, and the current organizations and peoples, they can just get the intel there.
Yep.
Okay.
Just go on Jesse and Tati, and if you, even if you just put Better to Give, it'll pop up under Jesse and Tati's, under our page, under the umbrella. That's been I've been doing that since 2016, and it's been amazing to see people come out and volunteer. We always get new faces, and then we have the staples, the ones that come every time, and I'm like, man, you guys are amazing.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, if you can't do any of that, you know what you can give? You can give conversation. You can give an hour of your time. You can give me your manpower. I tell people, if you don't want to like interact with the homeless, that's fine too. Just, I need your arms, I need your hands, I need your sorting skills.
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of sorting, so. But it's been fun.
Sometimes with the being without a home, without a house, it starts with the paycheck to paycheck. I mean, it's overwhelming to like understand all the bills and things. And it's just, when it happens, it's a slippery slope to get back on track. So it's good to be one of the examples in the community to help. How do you manage the balance? Because a lot of people who do these altruistic endeavors, it's not your main focus. I mean, you have a life. I see you go hiking and go to the beach and have family time. How are you able to keep that involved but still balance?
Well, I learned real quickly that if you try and do too much, you will burn out and end up quitting altogether. So you have to do things within your means and within your time, because overextending yourself is always going to make you become crabby or want to quit and forget why you're even doing it. So I think that it used to be once, I did it one time and I was like, oh, this is cool. I wonder if I could do it again. And it was like, yeah, maybe we could do it in like 4 months. We'll collect goods in 4 months. Okay, let's do it again. And then I started doing it every 3 months, and I was like, nope, not going to work out. Too much for me. Too much for me. And, you know, I had other moms that would help out, which is really, really awesome. You know, I had the BFF. I had my really good friend, Marianne. I had my friend, Tina. Another mom, Prissy. And that's how it actually started, was like moms doing it. And then people got on board and it started growing. But I think because it's my brainchild, I feel weird, like just passing it off and telling them, okay, you guys do it, because I don't have time. So I keep it at a 3-a-year thing, and then just the summertime, water's easy to do. You just pack up the back of your car, and I tell people to do it themselves. There's no event for it. Just put a cooler in the back of your car and just pass them out. And, you know, if you want to take social and hashtag us, you can. If not, don't worry about it. You know, some people get weird about that too. But yeah, making it within your means. You know, you gotta still feel good when you're doing it. You know, when you're doing something and it now feels like you have to do it, or it's like a chore. That's the
obligation.
Worst. An obligation, yeah. And it's like, you shouldn't feel that way. You wanted to do this to help the homeless. All of a sudden you're feeling like, you know, I have to do it. And if I don't, who's gonna? And they start stressing out. And then I stress out my family. You know, Ari and Lincoln, they were the ones who kind of even opened my eyes too about homeless people. And they're really small now. They're not really as big into it as they were when they were babies, you know? And I don't want to force them to do it. I want them to do it because they enjoy doing it. And if mom's stressed out and she's yelling, which I did at one of these Better to Gives, I was like, what is wrong with you guys? You guys are so spoiled, and look at your lives. And it was bad. And, you know, those kinds of things, you know, when you start getting stressed out and you start yelling, nobody want to do it with you. Nobody wants to help pass out to the homeless if you're going to be the wicked witch of the homeless West. Like, so you have to make dates and make times where you really can commit. You know, if you could do it twice a year, great. You can do it only once, make it big. Make one and make it big. You know, I do 3. It's not very big, but I always feel like, you know, if somebody hears about it, they'll want to come and join in and help out. And there have been people who come by. We're supposed to get a burger truck and this was going to be the first time ever that we're going to pass out burgers to the homeless. But then COVID-19 happened. I was like, dang, I was going to have burgers at my outreach. It was going to be lit. I was so excited, and then it didn't happen. I was like, I hope they still want to do it later.
you used it initially when you were working in radio in DC
Mm-hmm.
to get to know the community. But there must have been something early on where service to your community, or at least service to your BFFs, where that happened for it to manifest itself that way.
So mom is from the Philippines, and you know we have to pack the LBC boxes with all of our
Oh,
old
yeah.
clothes.
That's right.
You cannot
Okay.
just throw away your clothes. You have to give it to your cousins in the province.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my
you
gosh.
know, the thing is when you come from immigrant parents, I feel like, who are like, you know, I'm first generation American. They're still trying to send stuff back home. They're trying to help out those that didn't leave a country that's far worse than America. So that's, you know, we did that as kids. You know, I grew up in the church. I was born and raised Seventh-day Adventist, and you know, I was there all the way to about 13, 14, and we did a lot of stuff with the church. We always did outreach and community stuff. So I mean, I was doing it as a kid, but myself, like my being motivated, self-motivated, I did it because it was what I had to do. You know, we were in church and this is what we do. I knew the basis of it. I knew that it was, you know, doing God's work. You know, you're doing service, you're giving to others. And that's, you know, what you learn. And the whole better to give name actually came from the Bible. It's better to give than to receive. You know, it's from scripture. So my roots were in the church and, service, but I left church a long time ago, and then it took my grandmother's passing in 2011 for me to go back to church and kind of get back into a relationship with God. Because when you knew me, Kathy, I was as far away from my walk with Jesus Christ as I could be. I was so far gone. And then moving away and seeing you know, Ari and Lincoln, children are very innocent and pure, and when they see homeless people, they, you know, it was the perfect storm for me to just come back into being a person of service. So
That's cool.
I didn't do it in school though. I wasn't that teenager that was like, let's go guys. I wasn't like ASB or like student council. I wasn't like, I took a leadership class, which is kind of the same thing, but my friend Carolyn was in charge of the class, so I barely showed up, and she would still help me out with the grade. That was me.
You have 3 keiki. Can we talk about them?
Yeah, I have
a cool dad, Marvin, as your husband.
Yeah, so DJ is 22 now, and he was 2, I think, when maybe 3 when I brought him to the radio station in Hawaii, and at the time I believe it wasn't even Clear Channel yet. I think it was AM/FM or something, right? Not sure. But I used to bring him to work with me. So now he's 22. He's home. Then there's the 12-year-old, and she was born here in California, and so was Lincoln. He's 10, and he's born here in California. Those 2 are my California babies, and DJ is my Hawaiian. Motherhood is what I was born to do. But I tell you what, I'm not very good at it. I'm trying my best. Every mother is always just trying their best. And I'm learning more and more, especially now. Recently something happened where it kind of made me feel like, oh man, I need to move forward with my healing journey to be a better mother to my kids. And it wasn't anything it was something that happened to me that my mother had triggered into me. And then I was angry, and then I was sad, because then I started thinking about all the times that I wasn't a very good mother, especially with my oldest, with DJ. I was very young. I was 17 when I had him, and I was just growing up myself, and I was making the mistakes that we do in our early 20s, but yet I had a child in tow. So motherhood is what I always wanted to be. Like, from my mom always said, since you were like 12, you're like, I want to be a mom. I was like, well, no wonder. No wonder I was a teen mother. But yeah, you know, motherhood is just, I love it. It's joyful and painful all in the same breath. And it's hard. It's not
I think, not everyone can be a mom or a mother. And I don't think I'm not a mom. I'm an auntie. I'm beyond being an auntie. But the thing that I have noted about my friends and relatives who are moms is it's not one thing. And we're now in an era where you really can dictate what it means to be a mother and a leader in your pack sort of thing. It's like no one can do it all. But what does that mean? It's like you are really doing it all, being a mother and working and being a wife or a partner and all these kinds of things. You're a human being, so it's limitless, really.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is. You have to allow yourself to accept the mistakes and the flaws and learn from them and keep going, and just there isn't any such thing as doing it all. When I go hiking, I don't bring my kids for the most part. I need a break. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the other thing too, is like people would give me a side eye, and I'd be like, oh, I need a mommy break. Sometimes I'd be with old radio friends, and I'd leave for a whole weekend. I've been blessed to be married to a husband who's like, yeah, go. He trusts me. He doesn't think I'm doing anything that's detrimental to our marriage or to our family, so you could do it all. I mean, you could try, and if anyone, the other thing is asking my kids to communicate with me. Like, just communicate with me. Like, if you're hurt or you're angry, or I did something that doesn't make you feel good, I want you to tell me. Like, don't hold it in. Tell me right away so that we can look at it together and see if, I need to adjust what I'm doing, or we need to see why this makes you feel this way. It's just, I want to have kids that talk to me and tell me when they don't feel good, and it's because of me. And
that's great.
That's all learning. I'm being 40 and now feeling like, oh, I'm learning how to be a better mother to my children. And gosh, it's 10, 12, and 22. But you're always learning something new. And if you're not, then that's not good. But yeah,
we're in a different era.
You're an auntie.
Yeah, I love being an auntie. It's the best. It's the best feeling knowing that the people who, like, especially my nieces and nephews, their parents love me and trust me enough to spend any amount of time with them. Because that's another thing that you learn as you get older, that intuitive, like, that person's good, that person's uji, and, stay away from me kind of thing. But that's like something you can't teach. Just like trust your gut, know who to bring into your life, and know who, like pruning the friend tree. 40s is all about really pruning and figuring out who to bring in, and like helpful or hurtful. If it's helpful, keep. If it's hurtful, more often than not, it's okay to let it go. Have an occasional high. You don't have to keep them. Nobody ever said you have to, even for family, you don't have to keep those people, really.
Yeah.
But you know that. Yeah, we've had conversations about that.
Learn.
Yeah.
That's a really hard one to learn. Like, that one's, I want to say just in the last year, I've been kind of figuring that one out, because right what you just said, like, even family, it's like you're taught that family's family. This is who you have, so you have to forgive, and you have to see why things are the way they are, and but you don't have to keep them around. And that's the part I think that gets confused with, okay, I forgive. You don't have to keep them around. I mean, we all got things we need to do in life that just hold a little more weight and priority and importance. And if it's going to make me feel some type of way all the time, then I don't want to be around it all the time, and I think that's why, moving out here to California, I love, oh man, I love and miss Hawaii, but being here, it gives me space and clarity, It gives me my time away from having to be that family member who's the all-forgiving, all-connecting, submissive. Dude, Filipino culture, that's why, the Filipinos, man, you supposed to... That's nobody's business. That's family business. You know what I mean? You don't talk about it. You don't put nobody's name into your mouth that puts them in a bad light. But I'm starting to realize I'm hella Filipino American. I do not need to subscribe to some old school ways that I don't feel serve me and my growth. So this is something I've been learning recently. I'm like, nah, fam, you guys can say all you want about me and talk about me. That's okay within the family, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm Filipino American. I'm not from the Philippines. I don't have to hold on to the traditions and the cultural things that you guys want to keep. I'm just not there with it. So, but it's hard, they're like, oh, what happened? Your daughter's not raised right. She's disrespectful. I'm like, nah, I'm respecting me. I'm going to respect me right now. If that's okay. I'd like to respect myself.
Yes.
So it's hard. Family, that you don't choose your family, but you don't got to choose to hang around them all the time either.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I've been learning through the years, through my life experience. And it's all these epiphanies. They just manifest themselves in so many different ways. It's like learning to share my own stories and like knowing when to just like, that doesn't need to be revealed because not everybody deserves to hear your story. It's just like whoever you were then, that doesn't define you now. And if other people want to make that their truth about you, it's like, oh, that's so great, you're a time traveler. But come into the present. It's so much fun. It's so much more fun here. So.
I think you'll appreciate the growth over here. Come over here. I know you want to remember the stuff I used to do, like when I was 22, 23, and the people I used to like associate with, but try to get to know me now. You might like me better now anyway. I learned a lot. I've grown since then. But it's hard for people to see you any other way.
It's like full disclosure.
And
I was like a lot of fun when I was drinking like that. But I'm not.
By the way, I love that. So last time we talked, you were sharing that with me about I don't drink like I used to, but I drink.
Yeah. Moderation's cool.
Right. And I respect anybody. If you don't drink, trust me, I'm not going to be like, let's crack open a bottle of wine. Once I know you don't drink, I'm like, oh, cool. And even if I forget and I'm like, hey, let's drink some wine, you're like, oh, I don't drink. Oh, good for you.
More for me.
That's good because it works for you. Yeah. If it works for you, it works for you,
Yeah.
I always tell people, do you, boo. Whatever it is that you need to do for you, then you do it, and we're in an age where our mental health is very important. And if things get in the way of processing, like alcohol, I had to stop drinking all last week. One whole week, Kathy. How hard it was? One whole week, Kathy.
But that's the thing too for me, when people do drink and they party, whatever your as long as it's recreational, you're not hurting anybody, I'm like, celebrate you. I'm like down for it. It's like I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing people have fun. But I just it's just take care afterward. That's all. It's all good.
Yeah. If you find yourself crying profusely after you drank, that's not good. That's not good. If you find yourself angry, which that was my thing recently, find myself angry, and I was like, well, if I'm angry, something is deep under all that's coming out because of the the liquid courage. It's something deep is coming out when I'm inebriated. I was like, I gotta figure out what that is. What's going on with that? So before I was just like, oh, what? I was cussing you out. Oh, sorry, too much. Now it's like there's something there,
Yeah.
So you're right. When people are doing socially and having a good time, and it's bringing out, some fun conversations, and you're responsibly, But if you're angry or you're super sad, that's a warning sign right there that something needs some healing, or you got to revisit that. And and culturally, growing up in Hawaii, I love that word. growing up Hawaii, I mean, fights are mandatory, you know?
Bro, one time I was in Waikiki in my youth, and I was on Kuhio, and these two girls, I want to say they were visitors, but they just started like scrapping, and I got in the middle of it and I broke it up. And then my friend was bouncing nearby, and he's like, "Are you crazy?" And I'm like, "I'm drunk. How dare you?" But I mean, it's like, I would not, it's a liquid courage for sure. But it's like, you see two ladies fighting? No, I mean, that's just you. That is so unpredictable. That is,
Oh, you're so good. I would have watched and hoped that somebody's top fell or whatever. Like, and there wasn't even phones then, But then back then, like, it would have been bad because I would have had a great story to tell. That's the thing about radio. You're looking for the stories to tell anyway, right? So I'm like, oh, these
let
two
me
chicks
deep dive into my
scrapping,
memory. Let me.
Two chicks are scrapping. Oh, one of these will pop out was made up. Hold on, one girl should grab her pants. It's now I don't know if like nowadays I could, like, you're right. Now I'd be like, whoa, two people, what is going on? Like, that is not good. Like, but back then I would have been like, world star.
I mean, it's funny now, but again, it's like the distance from when it was happening then. And I really feel as if when I look back, it's like I recognize that person, and like my heart goes out to me then. I mean, it's all the same, it's just I'm not that disconnected, but I'm just like, man, I'm so glad that I somehow survived that, and I'm trying to figure it out. And that doesn't, I'm older than you, and the figuring it out and the learning, it just keeps going. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
There's no fatigue in like trying to figure things out, the curiosity about the why, or at least for me anyway.
I remember hearing people who were older, which I don't even consider you older than me, Kathy. I do consider you a veteran in this business, and I always look up to you. And you had Fresco on the other day. I was like, Fresco! Like, growing up in Hawaii, listening to radio, you guys are like the ones that I was just like, oh my gosh, even like Wendy from Wine, I was like, she's wild, I like her, but I don't feel like you're like older than me. But I remember when people would say, oh, wait till you get 30, 40, it's better. Like, it's, and I'd be like, no, it's not. Like, I couldn't see that. I was like, what? I don't want to be 30, 40. I'm trying to live it up now,
Yeah.
And now that you're right. Now I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, my 20s were my worst. Yeah. They were my worst. I was so naive and just so, oh my gosh, I didn't even know, like, naive is a big one. I feel like naive was one that I felt was definitely described me, but not just naive. I would just be so impulsive and so,
oh yeah,
like in the now. And now I feel like as I'm older, I really think about my choices and how it could affect the people around me. It's like,
yes.
It's like to consider that. I never considered that in my 20s. In my 20s, I was like, I don't care. What do you mean? Like, what you doing? Like, too bad. Like, take it or leave it. This is how I am, And I was very like, who cares? But now I think to myself, like, well, let me be a little more considerate, and let me just think about what my choices are gonna, not just for people around me, but for me. Am I gonna be proud of this? Like, am I gonna feel good? Like, probably not, So I do believe that getting older is it is so much better. Like, you just, the wisdom and I can't wait to have nice white hair. Not the ones that are only showing in the baby, not just the ones around here. I want it to just be like, I wish it would just go white like that, like Storm from X-Men.
Watch out tomorrow.
Watch what you wish for, Tati. You're going to be the 40-year-old who looks 70.
Oh my gosh. But I really like that. It's a lot of people, I say that your 20s and maybe up to like 31, it's just like, make all your mistakes, just be the most outrageous you. And then, as you get older though, it's just like, it's okay to adjust your sails and grow up. But I think that's where there's that resistance, because some people view that as not being able to have fun. But it's just like, there's a way to really celebrate your life and to include everybody in it. I don't know if it's responsibly, but in a fashion that is more suited to who you are now. You know, I think it's just holding on to like being 22 and being able to hold your drink or whatever. I know,
I love telling those stories from when I was 22 though. People are like, "Oh, you must have loved it then." I'm like, "No, I just love how different I am." I love how easy it is for me to tell those stories without being embarrassed, you know? It's like I learned from it. You know, I learned
there's so many there's some stories where I don't mind hearing about it, but it's just like, just repeat it to me. You don't have to repeat it to other people. You know, just like, just right here, and then can you just let it go?
Dude, remember I told
those are
you
good stories.
I remember I told you somebody walked up and was like, "Oh, when you was so and so," and I was just like,
"Really?
I didn't even talk to you when I was with so and so." And furthermore, I don't even like to talk about that and acknowledge that. That's not something that I'm. You know, it's. I could have a conversation with you, Kathy, about it.
Yeah.
There's just. What do you want to talk to me about this? Why do you want to talk to me about this? Do you need me to feel little right now? Do you need to, because that's what it feels like. It feels like you're trying to bring me to this level of where I was then so that I can be right with you. And it's like, I don't view you as below me. So if that's what you need to do to make me feel like you're equal, I can tell you right now, we are equal. You don't have to do that. Like, I don't think I'm better than you. I haven't done anything spectacular, that's going to make me feel like, why am I even talking to you? Let's just talk. Let's just, we don't have to bring up an unsavory part of my past,
Oh, like the GPS, like you need that GPS story of like, I knew you back when. It's like, no, you don't need to do that. Why don't we just get to know each other now? Hi. Hi. My name is.
Hi, I'm super excited for you. I hear you doing this right now. Good for you. Like, what is that like? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the big things in your life right now, So, yeah, I don't know. It's very weird to me sometimes. But at the same time, because I'm getting older, I understand it. And I have to go, well, I guess, that's just, and I have to not react because my normal reaction is like, what is that about? Like, that you don't know if I could do that. Don't do that. Like my initial reaction is very like, I don't remember talking to you about that back then, so why would I talk to you about that right now? Like, it's nice growing up. I still feel like I'm very immature and I have a lot to learn, but I'm more conscious and more self-aware now. I think that I'm watching myself a little differently than I used to. I'm taking care of myself a little better than I used to. That's why you always see me hiking and stuff. I'm like, I need something to help with my mental health. I need something to give me those endorphins, Endorphins are good, it just... Endorphins will make me get into a bathing suit, stretch marks showing, all that, and, darker parts of my inner thighs showing. I don't even care. I'm like, because endorphins did that. It made me feel like, oh, so what? I'm sexy,
I love it. But I feel very lucky that when I knew you, there was that at the radio station where we worked at, it was KIKI in the late 1990s and very early 2000s with Frederico as our programmer. And, it was during that period with all the jock meetings and hanging out and stuff. It was such a special time. And I'm so glad that I'm in touch at just varying degrees with the people from that entity,
Yeah.
If it weren't for that, it's so wonderful to like still be in touch with you because you're super fun, and just like the different kind of insight through the years. It's like I learn a lot from you, just because of your perspective, You
better watch out for me.
I learned how.
We used to. I still tell people about those times. Like I always tell people, a good PD will not just be your boss. They'll be your friend, and they'll be compassionate, and empathetic, and they won't be quick to judge you, and they'll do stupid jock meetings that I feel like not a whole lot of business gets done, but a lot of laughing at each other and at yourself gets done. I said, it was part of training for later on in your radio career. If you couldn't get it then, what we were doing, you probably would not last as long as, as long as we're doing it, because you had to be able to laugh at yourself and be able to make fun of people without making them feel like you're putting them down. I don't know. It was just great times, man. Like every time I think back to those times, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, lots of fun.
Those jock meetings I lived from. Thursday meetings. Kilo Boy. Oh my gosh. Remember when Kilo Boy, we said that the first person has to cater. They have to bring catered food, and he catered breakfast. Oh my gosh. We're like,
that was so awesome.
That was great. And what's fun to see too though is that everyone's branched out all over Hawaii. That same bunch of people, with different companies.
Yeah.
You guys are all over the place. So it's fun to see that too, how everyone's still doing radio but in different entities.
Yeah. And we're still friendly. And we're still friends, which is I love that. It's just feel very lucky about that.
Yeah. Well, you have to be. I mean, it's competition, but it's not personal.
Yeah.
And I was telling somebody that, they were like, oh, I don't compete. I was like, well, what? I compete. Yeah. I'm the most competitive person I know. I'm all about competing.
I'm here to win. I'm not here to win. I'm winning. I'm winning, gosh darn it.
Yeah, I want to be a pro. You know what I mean? Like, what? I'm trying to get those ratings, okay? But at the same time, it's not personal. It's...
Because everybody, when we succeed, they succeed, everybody succeeds. We all get better. Like, how are we going to improve our craft or just better promotions and just everything gets better when we are supporting each other in the way that we do, which is, wanting to succeed. Jesse and Tati in the morning in San Diego, you guys are broadcasting from your respective homes, right? Is it, who do you guys rotate who goes into the studio in San Diego?
No. So Jesse was at home for 3 weeks only because he had sore throat or whatever, and he didn't want to jeopardize that, So he stayed home, and he has a home studio because he's also on in LA, in Kiss LA. So he does double duty. He does afternoons there, and he does mornings here in San Diego. But I was still going into the station the whole time. When he came back, we all stayed in separate. So we're still on in separate studios. I'm in the phone screener studio just because I like it in there. I can grab audio. I have more access to doing stuff. Whereas if I sit in the main studio with him, I'm waiting for my mic to be turned on. And sometimes I feel like I get paid too much to wait for that, I feel like I'm from Hawaii. I'm small market, so.
Coach, put me in already.
I can do a little something more than that. I could, trust me, you don't have to just turn on my mic. I can grab audio. I can produce, so I always feel kind of weird about that. But yeah, we're all still at the radio station and we all go in. We're just in separate rooms. Cool. So, we're still doing that. And Star's been really an adjustment for me because Star is an older audience and different music. It's more pop. It's more NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and I wasn't really NSYNC and Backstreet Boys. I was more, I-94. I was more hip-hop and R&B. I love that music, So they moved me from the hip-hop station here, which was not hip-hop, but, it was their hip-hop station here. And then they moved me over. And I was really the music. But the people are amazing. It's people that are 40 older. It's people with families. It's people who have a lot of similar interests, as I do. So it's I learned pretty quick that it wasn't even an issue. But I fight everything that's any change that comes my way that I didn't have a hand at. Kathy.
Yeah.
If it comes because I didn't decide You better believe I'm going to be kicking, screaming, and crying. I am a Taurus. I'm stubborn. If I didn't
Oh, happy
say
belated birthday. Oh, wait, no, I did wish you happy birthday. You and your husband's birthday is like next door to each other, I think. Yeah?
Yeah. 420, 422. Yeah. But yeah, it's silly. I'm the one who creates my own problems for the most part. I'm realizing this. All my stress and problems and troubles is because it's in my head and I make it more than it needs to be. And then I really learn quick that I'm a dumb times.
You're human.
I'm human.
Yes.
But you know, and then there comes into forgiving yourself right away and then saying, okay, guys, I'm sorry. I thought you guys were only Hollies here on this station. You guys are all kind of people, so my bad. Sorry, guys.
I appreciate your time right now, and I appreciate our friendship. I love you so much.
Yes.
Have a wonderful Aloha Friday.
You too. Happy Aloha Friday, and thank you for doing this, and I love you so much, Kathy, and I'll see you soon. And for you, no charge, Trader Joe's, okay?